Hello, I'm Esfandiar Khodaee and welcome to Khodaee Book Summaries. In this channel, I bring you 10-minute summaries of the greatest books in history and politics. The Clash of Civilizations and the Remaking of World Order by Samuel Huntington, published in 1996. Samuel Huntington was a distinguished professor at Harvard University and former advisor to the White House National Security Council. After the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, Western policymakers needed a new framework to understand global conflicts. Huntington posed a crucial question: who will be the West's next adversary? His controversial answer was non-Western civilizations, particularly Islam and China. This book became one of the most debated works of the late 20th century and profoundly shaped American foreign policy. The central idea. Huntington argues that the fundamental source of conflict in the New World Order will be cultural. Nation-states will remain powerful, but the principal conflicts will occur between nations and groups from different civilizations. Cultural and religious identity, not ideology or economics, will drive the next era of global conflicts. Chapter 2. The 8 major civilizations. Huntington divides the world into 8 major civilizations: Western, Islamic, Confucian, Japanese, Hindu, Slavic Orthodox, Latin American, and probably African. Civilization is the highest level of cultural identity, defined by language, history, religion, customs, and institutions. He identifies 3 primary fault lines between the West and Islam, between the West and Confucian China, and between Islam and Hindu India. Chapter 4. Why civilizations will clash. Huntington provides several reasons why conflicts between civilizations are inevitable. First, differences between civilizations are fundamental and have existed for centuries. Second, the world is becoming smaller. Interaction between peoples of different civilizations are increasing, intensifying awareness of differences. And third, economic modernization separates people from local identities, and religions has stepped in to fill the gap, often in fundamentalist movements. And fourth, the West is at its peak power, but not Western civilizations increasingly have the desire and resources to shape the world in non-Western ways. Chapter 5. The decline of the West. Huntington argues that Western power is declining relative to other civilizations. He points to demographic decline in Western countries and economic growth shifting toward Asia. Population explosions in Islamic countries provides young, unemployed populations that fuel political instability. Meanwhile, China is experiencing rapid growth and emerging as a global superpower. Huntington warns that an informal alliance between China and Islamic countries against Western interests is forming. In Chapter 10, Fault Line Wars. The most violent conflicts occur along civilizations' boundaries. Huntington examines the wars in Bosnia between Muslim, Orthodox Serbs and Catholic Croats, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, and tensions in Kashmir between Hindu India and Muslim Pakistan. These conflicts persist because they involve core questions of identity. People are willing to fight and die for their civilization in ways they would not for economic interests alone. Chapter 12, Policy Recommendations. This is the last chapter. Huntington offers recommendations for Western foreign policy. The West should not attempt to impose its values universally on other civilizations. He criticizes interventionist policies, citing the failed U.S. operations in Somalia. Instead, the West should maintain its superiority and strengthen bonds among Western nations. Huntington suggests America should seek partnership with Russia and India to balance against China's rising power. Major criticisms on this book. The Clash of Civilization has been highly controversial. Edward Said argues that Huntington treats civilizations as monolithic entities, ignoring tremendous diversity within each civilization. Many critics argued that the theory was self-fulfilling. By framing global politics as a clash of civilization, the theory shapes how policymakers think, pushing them toward confrontation rather than cooperation. In 1998, Iranian President Mohammad Khatami proposed an alternative, dialogue among civilizations based on mutual respect and equality. The United Nations declared 2001 the year of dialogue among civilizations. The book's legacy. The terrorist attack of September 11, 2001 brought renewed attention to Huntington's thesis. Subsequent wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, tensions over Iran's nuclear program, and the rise of extremist groups seemed to validate his prediction. Today, this book remains essential for understanding Western foreign policy toward the Middle East and Asia. Whether one agrees or disagrees, his framework has shaped how Western policymakers understand global conflicts. And conclusion of the book, Clash of Civilizations. Huntington challenged the optimistic assumption that liberal democracy would peacefully spread globally. Instead, he predicted an era of cultural conflict. His central insight was that cultural and religious identity would become more important as sources of conflict than ideology or economics. According to Huntington, modernization does not necessarily mean Westernization. In the 21st century, culture matters, identity matters, and religion matters. These factors shape international relations as much as economic interests or military power. The clash of civilization has become the lens through which much of the Western world views global politics, for better or worse. Thank you for your attention and support.